All right, welcome into Healthy Debate. Myself and Tommy Smokes. We're going to go through some ideas, kind of grade Survivor. Barstool Survivor coming up as you're watching this, airing in a few months, but being taped right now. So going through different ideas, what to do, and just kind of grading my game, like Survivor overall. So, Tommy, I wanted to bring you in and kind of help me out with a bunch of different things. Obviously, it's a bigger prize this year, bigger people. This is a massive, massive cast. What is your first thought when you look at this list, and are you kind of pissed you're not in it?
No, I've gone back and forth. At first, I didn't want to be in it because I was like, all right, I'm not going to win again. I don't need to do it. And then, so I'm helping produce the show. So I've been helping with rules and stuff. I'm going to be there all week, reffing and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll get to be involved that way. And then once people started dropping out, I think it was like, well, if you didn't start helping with the show, you couldn't have been in it. So I was like, damn. But you know what? I'm happy. I'll be there all week. It's still like I'm involved, and I'm now very happy with what I'm doing because I'm not nervous, like I'm sure as you are, like going into last year, I like didn't sleep for a week. And now it's like, I'm going to be there all week. I'm going to know everything that's going. I just love Survivor. And so it's going to be like, I don't know, just really like producing real Survivor.
What about it did you love? Or what, I mean, I know why, like you obviously got into Survivor and it's great, it's unpredictable, but like, what do you love specifically if you had to narrow down like one thing?
So I started watching it when I was literally 4. Like my dad watched the first season of Borneo, and he just had me watch it with him.
How old were you?
4.
You were 4 when you were watching it?
That's when I started. Now I didn't become like sentient until probably season 4. I kind of remember season 4 of Vesepia. But I just loved it for me. I loved the strategy behind it. It's really the greatest social experiment of all time. Like I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, reality TV, it's, drama and fighting. And people are like, oh, I like the challenges. I like the strategic manipulation. How can you form alliances with people, use them to your advantage, advance in the game? I just like that manipulation of it.
It is a social experiment is what they say.
It's literally, like, I think as Mark Burnett or whoever originally pitched, it's like the greatest social experiment of all time. Take 16, 20, 24 in this case, not strangers, but put them together and see what happens.
No, it's unbelievable. Now, the one thing, going back to like the way we did it, it's a little bit different because the rules aren't as ironclad.
Yeah.
Things get changed. You got people greasing up the poles and different things like that. What would you say would be the biggest difference between ours and the show?
Hands down, the biggest one is everybody knows each other. Because like you could go into, like you've always said, if you went on Real Survivor, you would pretend to be deaf.
I would pretend to be
deaf.
deaf.
I think that's a brilliant strategy, but you can't be like, oh, I'm deaf.
Right.
Like, no, you're fucking not deaf.
Yeah.
You can hear. So, being able to shed those, I think it's good and bad. Like going in when you know everyone, it could help you having pre-existing alliances, but also, I feel like for me last year, there was a target out my back from winning previous seasons, whereas you wouldn't have that with strangers, obviously.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think people don't put enough effort on is the challenges. I think if you win the challenges, you hold more of a way. You're not going home. Your team isn't going home.
Yeah, but it's like, to me, I mean, that's fair. Yeah, or individual, if you win it, you can't go home. But also, it's like, I'd rather have a good alliance than a really strong tribe. Because at the end of the day, you can't win every challenge.
Right.
Especially as you get to the individual more.
If you win a few early, though, you build up in the other tribe. Like last year, if we swept 6-0 in that thing, or how many were there eliminations before?
I think 6. So it went 14-8.
So 6. If we go 6-0, 6 of you guys, 6 of the other team go home. You're on our tribe. 6 of the other team go home. Now it's like,
yeah, that's great.
We're just competing within us.
Then where do you stand within
our tribe? We had the numbers as well. You had 4 against the 3. You know what I mean? So you're in a better spot. I never got approached though.
But that was on us. We were
right. Yeah. So what would you say are some of my biggest assets from last year?
You were good at challenges, I feel like. What was the one challenge you like?
Oh, the first challenge, the throwing the ball.
Well, that you fucked up.
Yes.
Challenges help if you win them up. You were good at challenges. I think you knew about the alliance. I still think your biggest mistake, and I think it cost both of us, is when... So I think it was final. It was basically when you chose to vote out Gaz.
Well, I was against that. PFT and... No,
it was 5 left on our tribe. It was me, you... It was me and Gaz were aligned, and then you were with Jerry and PFT. And me and Gaz were like putting the full court press on you, trying to be like, go vote out PFT. And then we could get with Kirk at the merge and work with him or KFC or fights. And I think you sticking with them ended up costing.
But what would you guys have done? Were you setting me up in that moment?
No, I would have. At that point I had nothing. Like I just needed an ally.
Okay.
So
I thought that because that was running through my head. I had just found out Jerry had an idol. PFT had fucked up and told me Jerry had an idol. If I flushed, I should have voted Jerry. Yes.
Yeah.
Should have voted Jerry because he had an idol and I could have flushed it. There were 2 times. I know there were 2 times where I could have flushed an idol. That one, and then right when I was about to go out, I could have got into KFC and Fights' ear and Will's ear and been like, "You guys, if you want to vote me out next. But right now you can flush an idol, no strings attached."
Right.
And should have done that.
And my biggest mistake was not lobbing. So then when we merged and we were at Final 8, I was like ditching you guys because I was like, all right, you guys have
Right.
overall game. I'm going to go join the other tribe. And I wanted to get PFT out because I was like, he's kind of running the show over there. They were Che, the rat, was set on getting you out. And so what I should have done is use my power as like a swing vote to be like, look, you guys need me to vote with you. I don't want to vote on Rico. Let's take out PFT.
Right.
I'm voting with you. But, I was trying to not make.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to be like, all right, I'll live to see another day.
Do you think that was my biggest mistake, being a showman when Kirk got eliminated?
No. Like that matters.
I think it did. Che was obviously like against me from that point.
I think Che was always going to be against you.
Really?
I think you guys, you weren't on the same tribe.
No.
Like, he had no loyalty to you.
I thought it was the Kirk thing, and I look back at that, I made the mistake. The other thing was if I found that idol in that challenge, that changes the whole game.
Oh, in the beanbag.
In the beanbags.
I mean, yeah, you can't predict that.
It changes everything. But, yeah, I mean, looking forward to this one now. So it's 24 people. What do you think about playing the same way? Like last year, I was the wacky guy. You were doing all the stuff at night. Like you got a kick out of that stuff at night.
The rent sound.
Yeah, the Rent soundtrack. Trying to fucking get the system.
It's great Rico content. Piece of advice. I feel like people probably don't want to keep a guy around who is like having night terrors at full volume if they're trying to sleep. But if that's how you sleep, then that's how you.
Right. No, but doing the stuff at night, trying to get the loudspeaker and trying to steal the shoes and the toothbrush. You would say you probably got to change that for this go.
Well, you wanted to get the loudspeaker and speak, not realizing it would also wake our tribe up.
Right.
It actually would have only woken our tribe up because
they were all They
were on the 3rd floor. You had access to the 2nd floor.
Right.
You were like, I could wake everybody up in the middle of the night. You would have only woken our.
All those antics, you would say, shy away from.
No, not necessarily. I think they make you. Like, whether you're doing antics or not, people are going to be like, oh, that's Rico.
Right.
Like, you can't go in there and be a different person. So.
But I think you could play a different game.
You can, yeah. Would you play maybe more low-key, more under?
I think you could try to play a little low-key, but then you could just be one of those, like, I was a little under the radar in the sense I let PFT call all the shots, and it burned me.
Right.
At the end. You know what I mean? I wasn't really thinking for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's always a strategy to maybe laying low in the beginning, and then eventually, I mean, this game is also, like, so long. 24 people. If you're out of the gate being, like, running the show, you're just going to put a target.
Yeah. I just don't want to go out on the first day. I'd say, what would you say?
I will say you have first day elimination vibes.
Yeah.
Like in real Survivor, like typically the guy in real Survivor who is like doing the wacky shit, stealing the machete, Jatia throwing out the rice, they usually go on.
Right.
Yeah.
So avoid that day one.
I'm
going to avoid, that's my plan, is not do anything crazy day one.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a few like easy go home targets day one as well.
Who do you think? Do not want to say on video.
I think there's a few people who don't know how to play the game, and I think there's a few people who definitely, if you keep them around, they can win. Similar to you. Like, I would have sent you home right away last year, just in the sense that you keep a guy around, you made it to a tribe. You made it to a merge, you know what I mean?
There's a strategy, too, where it's like you keep a threat around for a little bit because you know you could get them out eventually, or they just grow strong.
No, I think they grow strong. I think some of these people can win.
Right.
You know?
Who do you think the three biggest winners are?
The guy who won last year. I think Will's a threat. I think Robbie Fox is a threat in the fact that he's Dana White just gave him $20K, nicest guy in the world. And then if he gets going, like the guy knows how to manipulate people and he's smarter, Dave, as well. You know what I mean? Like Dave can definitely make waves and play the game hard. What?
Do you think it would hurt him in the end having the money?
No, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, yeah, it would probably hurt him in the end, but he could get there. Who was the famous guy who made it all the time but never won?
Russell Hantz.
Yeah. But so if Dave gets there, though, that's a better spot than me if I don't make it.
There's a target on your back being you're probably one of the, 5 or 6 poorest people on the cast?
No, I think there's a few Yeah.
Poorer than you.
Smitty, maybe.
Smitty, Robbie.
Jerry. Jerry says he's poor. I don't know. Yeah. Jerry says he's got a lot of bills. Yeah.
There's not a lot of poor people.
No. R.A.
He's not in it.
Oh, he's not. Moobs is right out of college. I mean, she's doing well here, but like, she's living paycheck to paycheck, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't know if that hurts you. I mean, everybody needs the 250.
No.
Aside from
everybody would love the 250.
Right.
Everybody needs the 250.
Okay. I think a lot of people need the 250, but yes, everybody wants the 250, so that's where it goes.
I mean, as crazy as this sounds, like, obviously I'd love to, but like winning is even better than the money. That's how I feel. But I also am sick in that way of love.
Yeah. I think that's where Dave is. Dave wants to just win for pride.
Right.
So we could have another, like,
does not need. He needs
no.
the 250 less than I do.
Less than anybody, yeah. So it's another notch on the belt. All right, this episode of Healthy Debate is brought to you by DraftKings. TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, in for 6. Whatever you call a touchdown, one thing's for sure, touchdowns matter more at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from special teams to defense, we don't care how they score them, we just want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. On the ground, in the air, from special teams or the defense, we don't care how they score them. We just want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like someone to score. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown or how many TDs will be in a game. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Ready to do a touchdown dance on your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Score big with the DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code RICO. That's code RICO for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. But within the game, I guess, what would you say are some advantages to picking an alliance with people you already know? Or would you go with strangers?
I mean, obviously doing it with people you already know is good because you know you can trust them. But if it's too obvious, I think great survivor strategy is always like aligning with someone people wouldn't expect because they can account for, all right, Rico's going to work with whoever that he does a show with or whatever. But, you know, Rico and Mooby,
right,
or whoever, like, no one's seeing that coming. Like, there was a secret, or like, Che.
Yeah, Will with KFC and fights.
Will was secretly with KFC and fights for a while. So secret alliances are a benefit.
What do you think about that, though, in terms of fairness of like a game lover? You love the game. That people are meddling before the game. They're playing the game before the game.
Like, but also
no, but then some regular Survivor, they're not playing before the game.
In all returnee seasons, there is pregame alliances.
Really?
Yeah, like heroes, villains, all winners. Like the cast kind of knows ahead of time, and
right.
They rarely ever work. You can't make alliances with 20 people. So I personally, like, I probably wouldn't be spending too much time on pregame alliances.
Yeah, it also depends upon the tribes. All predetermined is a worry because you can get in a tribe where you're already outmanned. You have, let's say, 5 players. If there's 8 in a tribe, 24 players, 8 in a tribe, and 5 are already going to work together, and you're on the outside looking in.
You can also, if we're doing random, you can get outmanned in that way as well.
Yeah, but random, at least you have a shot.
I think you have a shot no matter how any of those 3 ways the tribes are determined, or a mystery 4th way that maybe you're not thinking about. There's no way you can really plan for it too.
What do you say is the biggest difference between this season and last season?
Number of people.
That's it. It's a very basic answer.
At the Chicago office, the New York office, so the challenges are going to be bigger for sure. Bigger prize, obviously. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's survival. Like, we're not changing the game that much. It's a true and tried formula that has worked for 46 seasons of television.
What are your thoughts on idols? Like them or hate them?
I like them overall. I like them as a player. I like them more as a fan than as a player. Because as a player, I feel like if you're in control, then an idol can fuck up your game. But last year, I would have went home first if I didn't find the idol. So I selfishly really liked it.
I'm trying to think. My strategy on idols was find them. Yeah. I had my hands on one like right away, and I couldn't fucking get it through the end zone. But I don't know. I really don't like them as a player because they thought I had an idol the whole time, and then they put a target on my back. So, like, I don't like,
another
and you
element
can't
of
deny
life,
it. Like, you can say, oh, I don't have an idol. If you have an
You
idol,
also, though, acted so much like a guy who had an idol. Like, there was a specific moment I remember where you were, like, it was like, oh, Rico was lying and he has an idol in his pocket right now.
I guess I was just good at playing the game, I guess, to a degree.
You were good at lying. You were bad at telling the truth.
I was good at lying. I was bad at telling the
Like,
truth.
there is. I feel like I'm that way sometimes too in the game, where like I feel like I can lie better than I can tell the truth.
Okay.
Like
I wasn't trying to lie.
I know you were trying to tell the truth,
Right.
Doing a terrible job of it.
But I did tell you the truth.
Yeah,
At the end.
but we didn't believe it because you explained it so poor. You explained it as if a guy who was lying.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I was trying to tell the truth, though, most of the time.
Yeah, you were. You were bad at telling the truth.
Okay.
Be better at telling the truth this year.
Be better at telling the truth. Any other
Or be better at lying.
final thoughts in terms of, like, you don't want to say advice, but, like, how would you play the game if you were me?
If I were you,
Yeah. Because there's a lot of people I know and there's a lot of people I don't know.
I would disarm people with your lunacy. Like I think people are gonna be like, oh, Rico, like you don't want to walk in with a fucking suit and glasses and everyone's like, oh, Rico, this guy, like
Right.
having people think, because obviously you're not crazy, but having people think that you're crazy for whatever reason that they think that, it could work to your advantage because it could be like, well, we don't have to worry about fucking Rico. He's fucking batshit insane.
Right.
It's like he's not going to pull one over on us. So I think if you can play that up to a point where it's not overly annoying and people want you out just because of how unbearable it is, but if you're able to like use it as a shield of like, he's Rico, he's crazy, but on the inside you're pulling the strings.
Right.
And then at the end Kaiser Sose, I've never been crazy.
But you don't want to pull. You don't want to go.
An act.
You don't want to go in and pull the strings a little too early. If you're the guy who's pulling strings early, you can put a target on your back quick.
You can pull strings without people knowing you're pulling the strings. But then there's the balance of when you get to the end, you don't want to be the guy who pulled no strings, so nobody's going to vote for him.
Right. But you don't want to be the guy who fucked everybody over as well.
It's tough.
You think
Will
yeah.
blindsided a lot of people last year, and he won.
He was just nice enough, yeah.
There's a certain like Tony and Russell, these two Survivor examples. They played similar games that they were both like blindsiding people and shit. Tony did it with more of like a tact where like he built bonds with people, whereas Russell was almost more of like the Jerry last year, where Jerry screwed over Dave so bad that he's like, I'll never vote for Jerry. Whereas like you could do it, but it's a tough diagram.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, appreciate it.
No, good luck.
I'll see you out there on the game floor, yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break from Healthy Debate to tell you about this week's DK Crown of the Week. This week's DK Crown of the Week goes to Hank. Had a monster hit in his Hungry Dogs Run Faster. Takes a lot of guts to take those picks. Outright 3 winners. That's going to be a big withdrawal for Hank. You know what else is great? The DK withdrawal process. In-app functionality that allows players to track the status of their withdrawal as it gets processed through the different steps of the withdrawal process. DK Withdrawal Tracker. Easily track your withdrawal every step of the way.